Right, so welcome back. I'm Alan Bark, and this is our AI weekly briefing for the SME business owner, the show where I go down a rabbit hole of everything new in artificial intelligence so you don't have to. Before we get into this week's news, I wanted to start with something that really doesn't get said enough in AI conversations. And that is the goal should not be to become more robotic. The goal should be to become more human. Because here's the thing, most business owners I speak to are drowning in operational stuff. The reports, the spreadsheets, the admin, the screen work, the tasks that keep the engine running, but pull you away from the work that actually builds a business. You know, the conversations we have with our best clients. You keep meaning to have them, but just don't quite get there. The team member that needs developed needs proper time and attention, not just a 5-minute check-in between emails. The supplier relationship that you could be doing a much stronger job to make sure you've got that great relationship with your suppliers, but you're always rushing. And the new customers that you're never allowed to follow up properly because the week it just ran away with you. So, that's where business is won and lost, not in spreadsheets, in relationships. And emotional intelligence, the ability to read people, to build trust, to navigate difficult conversations, show up with empathy, bring out the best in people. That's not something AI can replicate. It's not even close. This is a subject that in my other business, my coaching practice, I spend a lot of time on this kind of stuff, and it's where the real value of AI, I believe, sits. So what AI can do is it can take the heavy lifting off your plate, the preparation work, the routine tasks, the screen-based processes. They eat hours and hours and hours and give you nothing back. So that, you can show up better for the humans in your business, your customers, your suppliers, your team. That's the real opportunity, not AI instead of people. It's AI so we can invest more time in yourself and in the people that matter. So this week there's a lot to talk about on that front because AI is moving out of chat boxes and into actual work. For the past couple of years, most business owners have expected AI or experienced it as a website. You chat GPT or Claude or Gemini, you type something in, it types something back. Sometimes brilliant, sometimes average. Sometimes it makes stuff up with enormous confidence. And you ever wonder why you trusted it in the first place. But this week, the direction of travel, it feels as if we're coming into focus. AI is not just becoming something you ask questions. It's becoming something that sits inside your work, inside your Microsoft apps, inside your computer, inside your workflows, and increasingly inside robots and physical systems. That does not mean you need to go out and buy a robot. It does mean the question is changing. The question is no longer, should I try ChatGPT? The question is, which parts of my business should AI handle so that I can focus on the parts only I can do? That's a much, much better question. So here is the thesis for today. AI is becoming operational, not just conversational, not just creative, operational. It's moving into the systems, the workflows, where the routine work happens, so that you can spend more time on the work that requires a human being. We're going to look at 3 areas: Microsoft, NVIDIA, and the race to robotics. And then, as always, what you can actually do this week. So let's start with Microsoft. So a lot of small businesses are Microsoft businesses, whether they think of themselves that way or not. You may not say we're a Microsoft shop, but in your team, they'll use Outlook, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, Teams or SharePoint. Then Microsoft is already sitting right in the middle of your daily operations. That's why the Copilot updates really, really matter. Microsoft has confirmed that agentic capabilities in Word, Excel and PowerPoint are now generally available. That sounds like a very Microsoft sentence if you ask me, but let me translate that for you. It means that Copilot is not just there to answer a question about your document anymore. it can start taking multi-step actions inside your apps. You know, in Word, drafting, rewriting, restructuring, applying the right tone. In Excel, exploring your data, building analysis, changing formulas, creating tables and visuals. In PowerPoint, updating your existing decks with fresh talking points, building slides around new data, keeping it closer to your company template. Is it perfect? Probably not. Should you let it loose on your annual accounts and just trust it? Absolutely not. But this is a major shift. Because the value is not Copilot can tell me what to do. The value is Copilot can start doing something and some of the work. Think about jobs in your business that are not especially difficult but take far longer than they should. The monthly report, the sales summary, the board pack, the proposal, the tender response, the spreadsheet that someone has inherited from 5 people ago and nobody fully trusts, the update document that should take 20 minutes but somehow eats through an afternoon. These are not glamorous jobs, but they are business jobs. And this is exactly where AI and Copilot starts to become useful. Microsoft also shared early usage figures. Excel shows particularly strong growth. That bit matters because Excel is where the business reality lives. Cash flow forecasts, sales, stock, quotes, margins, wages. The list could probably go on and on forever. But let's be honest, are we still in spreadsheets because that is how the business works? When AI gets better inside Excel, do not dismiss that as a small product update. That is Microsoft trying to put AI into the operational nerve center of small businesses. So here's the SME takeaway. If you're already paid for Microsoft 365, ask yourself, are we using Copilot at all? Who has access? Which team members would actually benefit? And which reoccurring documents, reports or spreadsheets could we test it on safely? Don't start with anything high risk. I've said this already. Not payroll, not legal commitments, not anything that sends money or creates compliance headaches. Start with preparation work. Ask it to turn meeting notes into structured action lists. Ask it to turn last month's sales spreadsheet into a plan, a plain English management summary. Ask it to tidy a proposal. Ask it to create a first draft of a slide deck from a bullet list and then review it. This is the key phrase, and it's worth writing this one down, guys. AI prepares, you decide. So staying with Microsoft for the moment, there's another big update that is less obvious, but maybe more important in the long run. So Microsoft has been talking about computer using agents in the Copilot Studio. So normal automation connects systems together through APIs, application protocol interfaces. In plain English, two systems have a proper pre-built way that they talk to each other. But lots of small businesses do not live in a perfect API world. They live in a world where, supplier portals, customer portals, old desktop software governs websites, web forms, payment dashboards, random processes that begin with, first you log into here, and then you click there, and then you download this CSV, and then you copy it and put it into the spreadsheet, then you email it to Debbie. Every business has some version of that somewhere. I know mine probably does as well, thinking about it. So traditional automation struggles here because, if a website changes or a button moves, the automation breaks. What Microsoft's talking about is agents that can interact with websites and applications through a user interface. They can use the screen more like a human would. And before anyone gets too excited, this is exactly the sort of thing that needs control and permissions, audit trails, sensible boundaries. It's not a reason to let AI run wild across your business. But the direction is huge. Because it means AI automation is moving towards the messy bit of business. Not just the nice, clean systems. The messy bit, the old portals, the weird exports, manual checking, and processes that only one person knows properly. For an SME, that's often where the savings are hiding. Imagine you have someone who spends 45 minutes every morning logging into 3 supplier portals, downloading order updates, and copying the changes into internal spreadsheets. That's not creative work. That's not emotional intelligence. It's not relationship work. It's screen work. And over time, it becomes a candidate for an AI agent. So just to give you an example of that, last week, after I'd recorded this podcast, I asked, it was actually Codex, to use the app that I use. It's called Riverside, and to edit this together. And I was sitting watching my mouse move, opening menus, dropping in the music, dropping in the start of the podcast, the end of the podcast. And yet it took an awful long time. I probably could have done it in a fraction of the time, but it was learning. It was learning all the time. I'm going to try it again this week, see if it gets a little bit faster. So this is the direction of travel. It's not necessarily today, not necessarily with your most sensitive systems, but it's a direction we're definitely going in. So the question to ask is, what work in my business is repetitive? What work's screen-based, rule-based, and still being done manually because the systems do not connect? Answer that properly, and you have the beginning of a particular AI automation roadmap. And here's where, what I want you to get hold of. Every hour you reclaim from screen work is an hour you can give back to humans in your business, to your client who deserves more than a rushed phone call, to the team member who needs a proper conversation, to the relationship that's worth investing in. That's not a soft idea, that's a commercial one. And I believe it's where the difference will land in the coming years. So now let's move on to NVIDIA. NVIDIA and Microsoft have announced something called RTX Spark, a new class of Windows PC built for personal AI. They're talking about some serious performance, up to 128 gigabytes of unified memory, and enough to run large AI models and agents locally on a device. In normal business language, your computer may start becoming less like a passive tool and more like an AI workstation. Instead of every AI task going out into the cloud, more of it can start to happen on the device in front of you. That matters for 3 reasons. First of all, privacy. If more AI runs locally, there are more options available for you to handle sensitive files, internal documents, and business data without sending everything to the cloud. Local does not automatically mean safe. You still need security, you need a good setup, but it changes the conversation. Second is speed. If AI is running on your machine, creative work, video, large documents, and local searches may feel faster and more responsive. And third is cost and control. So cloud AI is powerful, but usage-based pricing can creep up. Local AI might start to factor in into hardware decisions, where your next replacement, a laptop or desktop, the question may shift from, is it good enough for email and spreadsheets, to, is my machine ready for AI work? I'm not saying to rush out and buy the most expensive laptop in the shop, although I keep looking at them. This is not advice. The advice is pay attention to the direction. The PC is being reinvented around AI. And if you're in video, design, engineering, marketing, or any content-heavy business, this could matter sooner rather than later. If you're mostly admin and light office work, you probably don't need to think about this or be the first in the queue, but you do need to know it's coming. So, quick related update from OpenAI. Codex now supports computer use on Windows for eligible users, meaning it can see, click, and type in Windows applications while helping with work. So as I spoke about earlier, I used mine to edit last week's video. So one important note for those of us in the UK, this feature is not currently available in the UK or EEA or Switzerland at launch. So I'm not mentioning it because you can all go and use it today. I'm mentioning it because it points in the same direction as everything else. Microsoft is putting agents inside Office and workflows. NVIDIA is building hardware for local agents. OpenAI is moving computer usabilities into Windows. Different companies, same direction. For 40 years we have clicked, typed, dragged, dropped. The next layer is, state the outcome you want, and the system helps you operate the work. That will not replace judgment. It will not replace human instinct that tells you when something feels off. When a client needs handling carefully, when a team member is struggling beneath the surface, those things require a person. They always will. But it will change admin, and it will, for the SME, admin is a very, very expensive hidden cost. Both the CEO of OpenAI and also Agentic, Claude, have kind of walked back a little bit from AI replacing white-collar jobs. They've both revised their statements around that over the last week. And I think there's a real opportunity for us to create something really special. Emotional intelligence is on the ascendance and becomes more and more important within our businesses. So now we're going to talk about robots, right? I'm not talking about Terminator here. But before you switch off, this is not about humanoid machines doing backflips on YouTube. The story has changed. It's becoming a platform story. And that is why business owners should pay attention. Boring is where money hides. NVIDIA's announced an Isaac Groot reference humanoid robot for academic research. And more importantly, they've released open source tools for what they call physical AI. AI that does not just generate text, but understands space, objects, movement, and real-world conditions. Robots, warehouses, inspection systems, manufacturing floors. Google DeepMind is pushing in the same direction with Gemini robotics, designed to help robots reason about physical environments, plan tasks, and follow safety constraints. The first wave of value for the SMEs will not be a humanoid robot receptionist. It will be the dull stuff, the repetitive physical job no one enjoys and no one has properly costed. Stock checks, visual inspections, security patrols, quality checks, reading meters or equipment displays, checking whether something is in the right place at the right time. These are not sci-fi jobs. Those are business jobs. And robotics is going through exactly the same journey software did. First, it's very, very expensive and specialized. Then platforms appear. The service providers package it up. Then smaller business get access. We saw it with websites, cloud software, digital marketing, AI agents. Robotics is next on that curve. The key point, the race to robotics is not about who builds the best body. It's about who builds the best brain, the best training environment, the best workflow for teaching robots useful tasks. This is the whole stack. This is why NVIDIA and Google are so interested. If you're in manufacturing, logistics, food, healthcare, facilities, construction, retail, even agriculture, start your watch list now. Not buying, just watching. Because the business that already know their use case, when the tools become affordable, they'll be able to move faster than everyone else. So, let's step back. Microsoft, NVIDIA, OpenAI, Google Robotics. These stories all connect to one idea. AI is becoming operational. It's moving into the systems, the machines, files, workflows, where work actually happens. And that's where commercial value is. And here's the uncomfortable bit. AI does not remove the need to understand your business. It makes it even more important. If your process is chaotic, AI can help, but it can also create faster chaos. If nobody knows who approves what, AI will not magically fix accountability. If your data's messy, AI might make it look more professional, but which is actually potentially more dangerous. So the real preparation for AI is not buying 10 tools. It's getting clear. Clear on your process, clear on your data, clear on your approvals, clear on what the AI is allowed to do, and more importantly, what it's not allowed to do, and clear on what always needs to be human review. Here's the other side of that coin. The business that uses AI, will not just run more efficiently. They'll show up differently for their people. The owner who is not buried in admin has time to walk the floor, to have the proper one-to-ones, to pick up the phone to the client, just to check in. Not because there's an invoice outstanding, not because they want to check on something, but because they genuinely want to know how things are going. That's the emotional intelligence in action, and it can't be automated. Reading the room, knowing when someone needs pushing, knowing when someone needs challenge, knowing when someone needs support. Building that kind of trust that makes clients stay, refer others, and forgive the odd mistake. Bringing out the best in your team, not through process, but through genuine human connection. AI can free up time, but you still have to show up. This is not a soft idea. This is a competitive advantage for most SMEs. And without realizing it, the emotional intelligence, the relationship building is going to give you that advantage, because your big competitors can deploy as much technology as they like, but they can't always deploy humanity. That's yours. So 3 things to do this week. So let's bring this down to earth. Number 1, do a Microsoft 365 reality check. If your business uses Microsoft 365, find out what you already have. Do you have Copilot? Who has it? Are the people using it? Pick one low-risk reoccurring job and test it. See how you can get it working. Turn last month's sales data into a management summary. Create a draft proposal from some bullet points. Turn meeting notes into actions. Keep it low risk. Keep it reviewed. But just start. Number 2, find one screen-based process. Look for a process that involves logging into websites, downloading files, copying information, updating spreadsheets. Write down the steps in plain English. Step 1, log into your portal. Step 2, click the order. Step 3, filter by date. Step 4, download the CSV. Step 5, copy into the tracker. Step 6, email the summary. That document's going to be gold. Even if you're not going to automate it this week, you've turned hidden knowledge into visible process. That's the first step towards automation. And every process you automate is time you get back to spend on the work that actually needs you. Number 3, build a physical task watch list. Ask yourself, what physical checks happen repeatedly in our business? What do we inspect, count, move, or look at? What goes wrong when someone misses it? And you're not buying a robot, you're building awareness. When the tools become affordable, the business that already knows the use case will move fastest. So, the headline this week, AI is moving out of the chat box. Microsoft is putting it deeper into the office work. NVIDIA is turning the PC into a local AI machine. OpenAI is pushing computer use. Google and NVIDIA are pushing physical AI and robotics. All of the points in the same future. AI that does work, not just talks about work. That's exciting, but it also means business owners need to be more disciplined, not less. When AI can take action, controls matter more. Permissions matter more. Process clarity matters more. So don't panic. Don't chase every single shiny new tool that I'm going to talk about on here. Start with just one process. Map it. Let AI prepare the work. Keep control of that decision. Measure whether it actually saves time or improves quality, and then repeat. But never lose sight of why you're doing it. The goal was never to become more robotic. The goal was always about freeing you up to become more human, to have the conversations that matter, to show up with your team and your clients and your suppliers. AI can handle more plates. What do you want to do with the time is up to you. Practical, controlled, commercial, and deeply, deeply human. Okay, so that's your week in AI. If this was useful, give it a like, please subscribe, and drop a comment with one process in your business that you would love AI to help with. I read every single one, so please, let's get those comments flowing, and I will see you all next Wednesday. Take care.